Hi, in this tutorial series, we will be focusing on what is Amazon Alexa and how do we go about creating our own Amazon Alexa skill in Java using Eclipse IDE. In this particular tutorial, we will see what is Amazon Alexa and a brief overview of the steps involved in creating an Alexa skill. There are no prerequisites required as such for this particular tutorial. You might have already come across the terms Amazon Echo, Echo Dot, etc. What are they? They are the smart speakers developed by Amazon to feature Amazon Alexa voice service first in the market. Later on, Amazon made the SDK for developing the Amazon Alexa services open access, which enabled the developers to leverage the features of Alexa in their own devices and setups like their home automation systems, etc. This graphic here shows how a user interacts with an Alexa enabled device like Amazon Echo and how it services the user's requests. Here in this graphic, we can see that the user will be making voice requests to an Alexa enabled device like Amazon Echo, which is showed here. And this Amazon Echo device will convert this voice request into machine understandable format, and it will then transmit this request to the Amazon cloud. The Amazon cloud will be hosting the Alexa skill to act upon this particular voice request, and the Alexa skill will process this request, provides back with the correct response, and this response will be transmitted back to the Amazon Echo device. The Echo device will then convert this response into voice output. So we can see that the user did not have to make any keyboard or mouse interactions to get his request processed. He just had to voice out his queries, and he got his response back in audio format itself. In this graphic, we can see that the user wants to know the current time in the US. For that, the user will ask the Echo device, Alexa, what is the time now in the US? For this particular voice request from the user, the Alexa will now respond with, it is 8:15 now. So how was the Echo device able to understand the voice request from the user and able to provide a correct proper response back to the user? It is with the help of the Alexa voice service. Now coming to a more technical aspect of the Alexa services, we can see that the Alexa is composed of primarily two components, the Alexa voice service and the Alexa skills kit. Using the Alexa skills kit, we will be able to create our own custom Alexa skills, and the Alexa voice service will help the developer to package his custom Alexa skill into his custom devices like his wearable, his home automation system, etc. Now before we go on creating our own Alexa skill, we need to create accounts in aws.amazon.com and developer.amazon.com using the same credentials. You can see here that there are 6 steps involved in creating a skill. First, we have to go to developer.amazon.com, sign in there, then go to Alexa Skills Kit, start a skill, create our own custom skill, and here we will be providing the skill name which we will be creating. I am giving here Alexa demo, and I am giving the default language as English US. We can create this skill using other languages as well, like English, Australian, German, Spanish, French, and so on and so forth. Now if we scroll down, we can see that there are actually 4 cards. The first one being the custom, and the rest 3 being pre-built models. For the purpose of this tutorial, we will be going ahead with the custom card. Let's say create skill. Now here we can see that the screen is actually divided into 3 sections. Now first we will concentrate on the rightmost section, and we can see that this particular section is actually again divided into 4 rows. We'll go to the first row, that is the invocation name. Here we will be giving the name by which we want to invoke our skill. We will see more about this in the coming tutorials. Okay. Now we will go back. The second row is the indents, samples and slots. Now before I say more about this particular row, this particular section, I would like to talk more about interaction model. Interaction model is the model we design based on which the Alexa service will be communicating with the user. With the help of this model, we will be instructing our skill on how to respond on what particular requests of the user. So if you go back to the example we just discussed, we can see that the user is actually wanting to know what is the current time in the US. So his intent being knowing the current time in the US. Now if we look closer at his particular request, we can see that he is just not interested in knowing the current time. He just wants to know what's the current time in one particular region, and that region being the US. So once the user voices out this particular request, the Alexa service will extract the information in this particular slot and then use the value of this particular slot for its further processing. So if the user had just said, Alexa, what is the time now in London? The Alexa service will extract the value of London from this particular query and process this request and returns back the current time in London. So this particular portion of this query is called the slot. Now, he could have voiced out his request in more than one form. The indent and the slot being the same, like he could have asked, Alexa, what is the time now in the US? He could have also asked, what time is it now in the US? Both queries actually means one and the same. His intent is same, that is, he wants to know what is the current time in the US. And the slot value is also same in both the queries. The only difference being the way he stated out his request. If the user says what is the time now in the US or what time is it now in the US, the service should behave exactly the same because his intent, his slot, everything is same. So we should be designing our model to behave only in one single way, whether the user says what time now is in the US or what time is it now in the US, because his intent and the slot values, everything are same. So this training set of phrases should also be given to the model while designing the model. So once we have given the invocation name, stated our intents, samples, slot positions, etc., we can go ahead and build our model. Once the build is successful, we can test out our model using the test simulator provided by AWS itself. So if we go to the test tab and enable the test for the skill, we will be getting an error because we haven't actually built our skill yet. But once we had already built our skill, we will be able to use the test simulator. Now how we will be using this test simulator? We can actually interact using voice as well as keyboard inputs with this simulator. So once we are satisfied testing using the test simulator, we can go forward using more advanced testing options, either by using our own device or using services like echosim.io, which we'll be discussing more in the further tutorials. So once we are completely set with our testing, we can go forward with the steps for publishing our skill in the Amazon Alexa store. So for that, if we go to the distribution tab, we can see that we need to fill out more information in order to get it published. The most important of them being providing sample phrases, which will be helpful for the users to interact with our skill once it gets published in the Alexa store. And also we need to provide the privacy and compliance statements, like whether we want to make money out of this skill, whether the skill is intended for audience above the age of 13 or not, etc. Once we have given all these details, once we are set with everything, we can submit this skill for certification from Amazon. The Amazon Alexa team will evaluate our skill. If the Amazon team is not satisfied with the standard of our skill, or if it is not following any compliance, the team will actually send us back a response saying that this skill is actually lacking in this and this areas. So we have to correct that areas and we have to resubmit it. And this iteration will go on until the team is actually satisfied with our skill. And this iteration process will not go beyond 2 to 3 cycles, because the team always comes back with almost all the issues they can find, and also the more recommended solutions for solving that issue. So once we have solved all those issues and resubmitted it again, and once the AWS Alexa team finds out all the issues have been fixed, they will publish the skill into the Alexa store. So once it is published, other users will be able to enable our skill in their real devices and use our skill. In the next tutorial, we will focus on creating our own skill as a Maven project in Java using Eclipse IDE. Thank you.